Every day, you are bombarded by conflicting truths, deliberate disinformation, and endless geopolitical noise. Processing this sheer volume of data can feel nearly impossible. When faced with this overwhelming complexity, most of us naturally slip into a defensive posture. We become what is known as a reactor. As we can see in the left column of this breakdown, a reactor navigates the world with anxiety. Because they lack a grounded framework, they're easily swayed by prevailing public narratives, relying on raw emotion and popular opinion to make sense of events. The danger of living in this state is simple. If you are constantly reacting to a story someone else framed, you have already surrendered your agency to whoever created that story. Taking back control requires a sharp, strategic pivot in mindset. As this guiding principle states, you must stop reacting and start leading the narrative. Achieving this is an active process. It requires a complete two-part transformation of how you operate. The first phase of this transformation is entirely internal. External influence is impossible without an unshakable internal ethical foundation. This diagram illustrates the concept of internal leadership grounding. Before addressing complex global issues, a leader must first construct a robust intellectual and moral architecture, a core that allows them to stand firm when faced with intense pressure. This slide visualizes the first tool you need: ethical clarity. Notice how the chaotic, tangled scribble on the left, representing moral ambiguity, is processed into straight, clean lines. By applying strict logical rigor, you cut through the noise and identify the principles at stake. That clarity is anchored by a strict baseline rule: do no harm. This protocol ensures that your decisions do not create collateral damage or rely on resource exploitation, protecting you from mission drift. This grounding goes all the way down to human biology. A leader's ethical clarity depends on mental precision, which is why the program treats physical discipline and cellular health as the very first measurable metrics of effective governance. By the end of this phase, the individual has evolved. They are no longer a brittle reactor. They are a grounded actor prepared to step into the world's most contested arenas. With the internal foundation set, a leader is ready to engage outwardly. For this program, that external engagement happens in Jerusalem, a high-stakes environment where emerging leaders learn to navigate the complex geopolitics of abundance. This archival image showing friction at a Jerusalem gateway highlights why context matters. To participate in difficult conversations without falling into oversimplification, a leader must develop deep historical literacy. From there, leaders train in media forensics. This is the ability to carefully deconstruct how public stories are assembled, allowing you to trace the hidden clockwork behind disinformation and spin. Once you understand the clockwork, you can employ narrative strategy. This skill allows a leader to frame the terms of the conversation itself, guiding the discourse in the classroom, the boardroom, or the global stage. Your historical knowledge acts as an anchor, preventing you from being swept away by the latest trending outrage. Meanwhile, your narrative strategy serves as the compass, confidently pointing others toward a shared, proactive mission. By mastering these external tools, a leader stops trying to merely survive a hostile conversation and begins actively shaping the reality of the discourse. Neither the internal core nor the external tools can function in isolation. Trying to use one without the other inevitably leads to a failure in leadership. If you possess ethical clarity but lack strategy, you become a silent philosopher, someone who knows what is right but is powerless to persuade others. Conversely, if you wield external influence without an ethical core, you risk becoming a dangerous manipulator. This diagram shows exactly how those two forces must combine. As the overlapping circles demonstrate, true influence lies strictly at the intersection of internal grounding and external strategy. This specific overlap is what we call conscious leadership. We can now see the result of that overlap. You've replaced the defensive, overwhelmed reactor on the left with the proactive figure on the right, someone capable of guiding high-stakes debates with both internal conviction and strategic poise. Ethical leadership, ultimately, is a conscious choice. It is the active decision to take intellectual and moral ownership over the most difficult conversations of our time. When you forge a deep internal core and learn to deploy an airtight narrative, You stop reacting to the world as it is today, and you start leading the narrative of what it will become tomorrow.